Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts.
In this series of videos, I'll be looking at the Judge Dredd case files in order and picking out the most prominent and important stories, as well as noting some artists and writers that actually appear in these books. Okay, so this is volume 33 of the complete case files. Um, yeah, not a great one, to be honest. The best story in this is from the magazine, um, because it has continuity and some characters that are recurring, which is really, really good. But generally speaking, everything else is it's not great. It's the artwork's nice in some of it, but okay. Saying that, we've got Ian Gibson straight away. So yeah, the artwork's great. So this is about a speed guy. She gets a speeding ticket, and some guy's going to try and kill himself because he's got debts, and then it all turns on. Ian Gibson artwork saves it. Pretty cool. Um, the big lie is pretty cool in the fact that somebody's trying to disprove Necropolis, that it didn't happen the way that they think it happened. And they're kind of going, oh yeah, there's all that stuff happened in the sky, and oh yeah, that kind of happened, but I'm sure the death toll wasn't as bad as it was, and all this kind of stuff. That's pretty good. And that kind of shows the Justice Department kind of manipulating facts and all this kind of stuff as well, which is pretty decent. Oh yeah, this one, Cold Comfort, about a cure for the common cold and how it would affect the citizenry within Mega City. Yeah, not too bad. A Calvin and Hobbes parody about this kid who's got an imaginary tiger he's apparently psychic and does other stuff as well. That's all right. Artwork's pretty decent. And that again, artwork in these is always pretty good. Um, this one again, another psychic one. The Bad Juve, or Bad Jude. Another psychic kid who can manipulate people, and it's got like Judge Powell, somebody reporting for Judge Powell in it, and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's all right. The Moby is about a what's it got? Mobile home kind of thing that apparently is kind of like effectively the white whale, and it's traveling around Mega City. Nobody really knows where it is, and when it comes into view with people, they try and capture it and all this kind of stuff as well. That's not bad either. And again, artwork pretty nice. Gun Runner's a bit weird because it's about a gun that can shoot on its own, and I swear we've had that somewhere else before. I know obviously Major Magnum and Road Trooper, but I swear we've had at least one Judge Dredd story, and it wasn't a stupid gun. It was something else that could have a gun that could talk, and that would try and get. I mean, unless I'm remembering this from the first time I read it, but yeah, that's okay. Sex Beast from Ian Gibson artwork again, pretty decent. About a aphrodisiac that apparently doesn't work on humans; it works on rats instead. Not too bad. What we got? Rampots, which I don't know what's called Rampots. I don't know. But anyway, a chip upgrade for people's memories that makes them more intelligent, or at least tries to. That's okay. Now, Star Trek. Now, this is a Star Trek parody. Now, the thing I find very fascinating is that that's the Enterprise upside down. Now, if that's enough to cast as a parody, fair enough. But they didn't really go out of the way to try and disguise it, because if you flip the page upside down, it's the Enterprise. They just put the... Anyway, all in all, nonsense. It's fine, but it's nothing. There's nothing there substantial. They try and get convinced that the Spock parody character is like is a mutant rather than half alien, all this kind of stuff as well. It's fine. Casino Town is about Chinatown stuff going on in Mega City, which is great. And then you've got this guy, which is I can't remember his name now. Johnny, is it Johnny Woo? What's his name? Yeah, Johnny Woo. I think he's a recurring character that comes out later on, so that's quite interesting. Bodies of Evidence is shocking enough. If it's Cam Kennedy, it's set in Scotland. So yeah, this is a cowhab story where big game hunters are going around hunting down random Scottish villagers, which is quite funny. But again, it's a gag. It's a gag story. That's fine though. But and it's Kenji artwork, so you can't really argue with that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that goes on for quite a while actually. That's not too bad. Now, Relentless. This is quite interesting. So this is about mutants in the Cursed Earth that effectively have rounded up all of the judges that took the long walk over a certain period of time and kind of bringing them back into Mega City 1 in a very Mad Maxy kind of way. And Dredd goes out there. Now, there is a bit of a silly thing in it where they kind of go, oh, okay, we're going to send if we send a bomb and we'll kind of like just destroy them all. And like the chief Hershey goes, oh no, we better not send that, because if we send too much of a retaliation, they'll think we're worried. Let's just send one man, or send Dredd. And you go, well, they might know if they're blown up. It ain't going to make no difference, is it? No one's going to know about it. Or if you just send a small squad. If you're sending a small squad of 5 against the entire team and you think you can take them on, what difference does it make? I don't understand why they didn't make it a team thing. That kind of justification to just make it a Dredd story did seem a bit silly. But it's got rad scorpions and dog vultures and all this kind of stuff now, which is pretty decent. It goes on for a little while. Artwork's pretty good as well, which is always nice. I think it even changed. Did it change halfway through? Yes, it does change halfway through. But they're both pretty cool. The Runner is about a guy trying to beat a running record, and he's mistaken for a criminal because he's running, and they can't think of any reason why he would be running apart from causing after creating a crime. Alien Wedding, yeah, Cam Kennedy artwork saves it, but it's about an alien that marries into another alien, and it turns out that he's got alien physiology, and it caused the death of another. Anyway, yeah, it's fine. Hellbent. Now, Hellbent. Hellbent is a guy. Yeah, it's a guy who accidentally knocks over knocks over somebody, and the girl with the person kind of goes mad and tries to cries and basically says, "Oh my God, you killed him." That's fine, but not great. Kicking the Habit. I do not like this artwork. I just don't like the way this guy does Dredd. That's not Dredd. That's not his uniform. It doesn't look like that. It looks annoying, and I don't like that. And the idea you've got a character sheet. You know what Dredd looks like. You know what his armament looks like. Saying that, it's an interesting thing coming on later on. But all in all, meh. Now, okay, Chief Judge's man. Now this is decent. I remember this one being a thing, so I don't know if this is something that really occurs later on. This is basically an assassin that has been hired by Justice Department to take out worrisome people in the city that they can't deal with through the normal course of the law. And apparently the answer to the Chief Judge. Now, don't think this has come up before, and I definitely remember this is an issue. But a decent story. Again, has further repercussions later on, I believe. And everything in it is not as it seems, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's probably the best 2000 AD story in this, I would say. And that goes on for about 2 or 3 issues, I think, or so. Sons of Katie did. It's fine. It's about some mutants that are having revenge on their uncle because he killed their mother. That's all right. And then we're into Magazine. So, okay, Word of Law is pretty good. Word of Law has got a kid that believes, possibly rightly, well, almost certainly rightly, that a Justice Department guy kills his mother. And he's a massive Judges fan. He wants to be a judge. And it turns out that because he's been orphaned, they actually put him in the judge program, and he doesn't seem particularly happy about it. Especially when the guy that may have killed his mother or did kill his mother is put in charge of the training. Now, I don't know if this is a reoccurring thing or not. This character is going to come back at some point in time, but I believe this is like the second time they've done this, but I could be wrong. Foot patrol's fine. It's about Dredd doing a foot patrol around an area rather than going on his bike. And there's lots of foot-related gags and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But the artwork's really, really nice. There's a lass in there that is kind of like pretends to be innocent, and she may not be as innocent as she says she is. That's fine. Actually, artwork's pretty decent. And then we go to LawCon. Now, this is the best one of the bunch, easily. So this basically is an intergalactic law convention where various judges from the mega cities around the Earth go to kind of meet up. But also we've got international kind of law, and they're basically trying to. It's like a weapons exchange, and they're selling all their weapons off and all this kind of stuff. It got some cool things in it. So first of all, recurring characters. We've got some recurring characters here from the Pit, which is really, really good. Including the little whiny guy, Bruno, whatever he's called. And he proves out to be actually quite good at his job. Even though, because of the simple fact that he's so completely determined to kind of find out every secret everybody possibly has, so he's overreacting everything. So that's pretty cool. Again, artwork's pretty good as well. The law con doesn't turn out to be exactly as it expects to be, and basically these law lords have been invited by the Sovs to come to Earth, and Dredd basically says, you know, if you step 1 foot on Earth, we're going to destroy you. Now, unless I'm very much mistaken, the law lords were the ones that had the character that looked like Judge Dredd on the cover of a magazine. They didn't look like this at all. But I could be wrong. I swear that's the Law Lords. I don't. That's nothing to do with the Judder. That was to do with the Law Lords. So they've kind of given them a redesign, if that's possible. Maybe because they look so much like judges. Maybe. But yeah, this is really, really good, and it's got a. Let's just say it's got a supernatural. It's kind of sci-fi thing vibe in it, and actually plays out really, really well. But that goes on for a few issues and all. Well, 3 issues. I think 3 issues of the magazine, unless I'm mistaken. But that's easily the best thing. The only thing being is we lose some supporting cast that we've seen that have kind of made their appearances in a lot of the Dredd stories recently. And I really like the idea of Dredd having supporting cast. I always think that the idea that characters come back from previous stories and kind of like you kind of know what their opinions are and how they're going to handle stuff is really, really good. And again, with the Apocalypse War and like Deckardine and Necropolis and all this kind of stuff, it seemed a real shame that they can't seem to maintain these kind of really cool characters. We've got Cracker now as one, and obviously Hershey and Anderson have always been the same thing. I don't quite know why they kind of managed to survive for as long as they did, in Hershey's case anyway. But other supporting characters don't. I know they're not exactly groundbreaking in their appearance, but the idea that Dredd's got like a group of people he can call upon that at least know what they're doing. Obviously we had Galen in the last one, but now she's been kicked out of the judges, so she's out of the way. So yeah, so it's a shame that we've lost a few more, but we'll see. Now, the best thing, in my opinion, is when I was reading this, because I remember this being the era that I didn't read 2000 AD very much. I still bought it every week, but I really did not like this redesign because it reminded me, I know Eagle at one point in time. I don't know if this was around the same time as this or earlier on. Eagle tried to redesign, instead of being just a comic book, it tried to get, with all the cool stuff that kids would really love, and it's like, well, I'm not really interested in that. I mean, I was the right age for it, but it's like, well, that's still not the kind of thing I'm interested in. So 50% of the comic book was just like nonsense. I don't need to know an interview with the latest pop stars, which is kind of what they did back in the day, but not quite as bad as they did then. Or films, or this kind of stuff, or even like pages on manga and all this kind of stuff. And 2080 kind of went down a similar route where they, again, like I said before, the idea that a lot of their stories like based on, contemporary TV, like The Word and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, I hated The Word, so I've got no interest in reading the story that's parodying it. But so yeah, so this goes on here, and then we get a change when we go back to the original logo, which is a good parody of the original version of the logo change. And once it goes back to that, it dwindles a little bit still into the old versions, but at least we kind of return back to the same kind of standards we were getting, in my opinion. So yeah. Oh yeah, it's interesting. So the Lawgiver, we've got the Lawgiver Mark II, unless I'm very much mistaken. There's a story in this one, which is I think one of the latest stories. I think it's a magazine one. Dredd's using the Lawgiver with the 2 magazines, like the old style one, and I didn't know if that was a thing because obviously these were programmed in Narcos to misfire, and I don't know if they've gone back to the original design, but it seems now that he seems to be drawn with that one more and more, so I don't really know. Not quite sure why maybe Machine Angels on that, but I assume it must be so it's its own story. There you go, that's why. So yeah, so all in all,
not too bad. 2 stories definitely stand out more than anything else, but they're not. They have reoccurring stuff that's going to happen, but I still don't think they're in the same standard as that kind of whole pit story thread that's been going through stuff. So if you were buying these on the sporadically rather than every single issue, you could probably miss this one out and it wouldn't make any damn difference. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's been kind of like that since Necropolis almost. Narcos was, I suppose, made a bit of a difference, but Necropolis was the last major thing in my opinion. And I don't know if this continues, because what we're now 52, 53 series into it. I don't remember seeing anywhere that says they're collecting Origins yet. I don't think that's happened. And Origins, I remember, has been the biggest crossover, or at least continuous story that I remember. But I don't remember any more than that. But I mean, they might show up later on. But we don't really get that. Again, we had, as I said before, those early issues where we had Apocalypse War and all this kind of stuff, Judge Child Quest, Judge Cal, within the space of several years. Doesn't really happen now. And again, you don't have to have every massive story every week, but I do prefer those interlinked kind of more serious stories than I do the parody stuff. And I think that's probably why I kind of just got a bit fed up with this era. Parody of Star Trek, it's been done 1,000 times before now. 2 Ronnies did it in the 70s. It's not really cutting edge, but there you go. Anyway, I think that's enough rambling for now. So thanks for listening, and hopefully I will see you on another video very, very soon. Bye bye.